We're good to go. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. I'm going to call to order the meeting for the Citizens Advisory Council of High Point, North Carolina, this Thursday, November 19th, 2020. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well this evening. Glad to see all of your faces. We are missing a couple of members this evening. I don't see Mr. Belton. Hopefully Belton he will come on a little bit.
I'm sorry, Rob. Mr. Belton is on. He's in. He can only listen though, but I have him by phone.
Oh, excellent. There you go. Excellent.
So there, it looks like he might be logging in now.
Okay. Mr. Mingo is here with us in spirit, but he is actually doing a food donation this evening. So he called to let us know that he is thinking about us, but he is out serving the community this evening. And then Mr. Broderick, he's not here. He's not feeling well this evening. So we all want to just wish him the best and hope, he comes back and we'll see him next month. If we could I get someone to lead us in prayer to open up the meeting?
I will try. Father God, we come to you asking you that you lead us with open minds to have we will have a great meeting so we make great decisions and wise decisions. God, we ask you to help heal this country, heal our hearts and our minds. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Okay. Looks like we don't have any minutes available on this meeting. Do we have any schedule of minutes that will be available?
I don't know. It's hard to try to go through the tape and do those minutes. And so you guys can have to bear with me in actually getting those done, because they have all of them are typed up, like I told you guys before. But it's a matter of going back through the tape to make sure that the information that was typed up is reflecting what was actually said in the meeting. And so I had a set done for you guys, and somehow or another, I couldn't find it. IT couldn't find it for tonight. And so I'm going to have to go back through all over again and do it again. But hopefully soon you guys will be able to get that. Now, if somebody wants to help me, I can send you the tape and I can send you the copy of the typed minutes, and you can take your time and go through the tape and go through the minutes to make sure that things are actually there. So, but I'm, not like sitting down and doing them all in one block. It's in between whatever free time I have.
Okay. Where are we up to now? I know we have October, September. Have we gotten into July or August yet?
No, I got 2 sets of those.
Okay.
July and August, and then we have up until the last meeting.
Okay. Anybody interested in dictating some minutes? Opportunities here. Okay.
Thank you for your assistance.
There you go. Thank you. I tell you what, I'll lend a helping hand. Let me know what I need to do, and I'll jump into the fray and see if we can get those.
I will do that.
Okay, excellent. I just got a call from Cyril. Looks like he may not be able to make it. He said he has a family-related responsibility, so we may be without our liaison this evening. Okay. All right, so moving on in the agenda, has everyone had a chance to look over the agency updates?
Yes.
Okay. And so are there any questions, any comments? We can do this one at a time. We just jump right into them.
Agreed. I think we can do them one by one.
Okay. So I had a chance to, look over each one of them. All of them seem to be on schedule or on some type of pace, being that the COVID has slowed a lot of it down. They all look pretty good. They look pretty much according to what their proposals were. My biggest question, though, is really, are they going to be able to complete it in time? Because it is, of course, Thanksgiving right now. And then, if they're not completed by December, then what kind of timetable are we looking at?
Rob, just to answer that question, and I think this was asked last meeting also, if the agencies feel that they will not be able to complete their project prior to December, they can ask for an extension or, for us to do an amendment to extend the grant. And so there has been a couple of agencies that they have not sent in a request yet, but they have talked to us about thinking that they will possibly extend the grant because of a lot of different issues that are going on, that they are not able to use the money prior to December 31st.
Okay.
Is there like a required date that they have to submit a request to extend in by, or?
They need to, what we normally try to have them to do is to submit to us like a month before. And so we've been talking to them, about submitting. So around the first week or so of December, we're hoping that if anybody wants to extend it, they will submit it at that time. Because what we will have to do once they submit a request for an extension, Mike will take a look at that. If Mike approves it, then we will go in and do an amendment to the grant with the new date on that, as to when they want to, how many months they think they might need to finish their project.
Hey, Michelle.
Yes.
When they ask for an extension, is there a drop dead date? Like, for example, if they needed a 3 months extension, would that be granted versus if they wanted a 6 months extension?
It all depends on if we have to have the money spent by a certain time, then they will not be able to go past that time frame. And so it just really depends on what the cutoff is for us in terms of, us finishing out the entire period for, grants to be extended. And normally when they ask for an extension, normally it's only like about a couple of months.
Okay.
And they have to justify why, they want the extension.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I wondered why it looks like in at least 3 of them, if not all 4, it looks like quite of the money is spent, but it doesn't look like they've been reimbursed yet. I was wondering, why is there like a time lag in when the money goes out?
Because once they send in their reimbursement, Alicia goes through it to make sure that they are in compliance with the grant and make sure that they have all their receipts and all the documentations that we need. A lot of times, if that does not reconcile, it goes back to the agency, and then the agency has to fix that before we're actually going to reimburse them money.
Okay.
Well, again, group, like I say, everyone, looks like they're on a schedule. I know a couple of them say they may extend it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, for me anyway, it does look like that everyone is doing something. I know Hayden Harmon has put the stations out. I've seen those. They look pretty good. I think they're pretty much on schedule. Open Door Ministries. I know those are one of the ones that may need an extension. But there's a lot of people that are coming in for help, so they may actually reach their goal. Sad to say. As far as the senior resources of Guilford, I didn't have too many questions about it, other than, are they going to be able to reach their goals? Because there's a lot of things they're not able to do because of COVID. There's not a lot of interaction. There are some activities that they're doing, but it's not a lot, again, because of the social distancing piece and whatnot. So to me, I'm pretty comfortable with it, but if anyone in the group here, has any questions or concerns, now is definitely the time to, bring that up if you see any.
I have just one more question. I noticed on the housing consultants group, it said that there was 25 in process. I just wondered why it was taking them quite some time, because it's already like November. I mean, it would seem that they would get a lot of applications, right?
They could, but there's so much money floating around to assist people, with their mortgage or their rent or utilities. And then you just had the HOPE program, which takes individuals that need assistance. It takes them 6 months out versus what we're talking about is only 3. So a lot of people might have, gone that way. And then the other thing is things are changing every day as we look at what HUD is requiring from us for COVID. And so the housing consulting group, and along with some of the other ones, the contract has just been finalized probably within the last 2 weeks, because we have to make sure that any changes that comes down to us that's included in those contracts. And so, so there's been a lot of different things that caused some of them not to be able to have their contracts on time, and some of them will not actually start the service until they actually have their contract in hand and signed.
The housing consultants group, they started a little late. When I say late, I think like what, August or September, Michelle? I think
More probably that, at least you can tell me, but I think it's more like September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more like September, October, before they were getting all their forms and everything in place, before they actually put the announcement out there, because they knew once they put it out there, they were going to be flooded with applications. So they are actually projecting, I think they have about 31 applications that they're processing right now. And so they expect to have those paid out by the end of November. So it's going to be a quick turnaround for them, a lot quicker than some of the other groups in terms of seeing that money being paid out.
Yeah. So that's why I think they may reach their goal, because those are going to be coming pretty fast.
Yeah.
Now, how does everybody feel about the Grodega? I mean, I'm not sure that they've actually started yet, but they're supposed to be complete by the end of the year. Or am I wrong on that, Michelle? Do they have until June?
Just in a meeting with them on yesterday, and the van is not as far along as they thought it was going to be. They have Mickey Body Shop that's repairing the van, and so that's not as far along as they want it to be. Plus, they're going through a transition. Their executive director is leaving. Their program manager, her husband had a stroke last week, and so she resigned. And so they're going through some personnel issues. They thought everything, they had everything where they were pretty much hoping to get started, before Thanksgiving, and then they pushed it back to Christmas, and now it may not happen until the beginning of the year. And then they're trying to, they're going through the process now, which is taking a little bit longer, is to have people to use their EBT cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's taking a little longer than anticipated. And so that was the update that I got from the meeting that I attended with them on yesterday. So they'll definitely be one of the groups that will ask for an extension.
Okay. So I can see two that will probably be extended. Do we have any from the previous group you think may also need to extend? Because I don't think I've seen other than maybe three that may have to extend.
I am not sure.
Okay.
Pull those up if you'll give me a second to look at the list.
Alicia says she's pulling up the list.
Okay.
Human Health Services and Sickle Cell Agency will more than likely ask for an extension. They're really just getting underway the last month or so on their emergency assistance part. Everybody else is supposed to be on track. That would be Macedonia, Salvation Army, Boys and Girls Club, and West End will definitely probably finish. If they need an extension, it won't be more than a month or two just to finish out what little they have left.
I did have a question about Hayden Harmon. I mean, it says that they've spent $0 up to date, pending an approval of a reimbursement of $7. But that would mean that they've only spent, I mean, once that gets reimbursed, that they've only spent $7,000 up to date out of their 31. Is that correct? Do you think they'll ask, is their service just so affordable that they'll ask for an extension so they can do the hand sanitizing stations into 2021? Or do you think they just have more dollars that they haven't requested an reimbursement for yet?
No, I think that that service is well needed. And I think that I know they have gotten some donations and, for things that people have given to them. And so they will probably ask for an extension to go into the new year. And I know that they are also looking for a grant that after our grant runs out, that they will continue to do this program.
Thank you.
Okay. So again, how's everybody feel? Is there anything that we would need as a group from these reviews? Is there anything that you guys are interested to see? Was there anything that we need?
What, to get an extension, what kind of like documents? I mean, what does the request to get an extension look at? Like,
they just have to write a letter on their letterhead, pretty much asking us to extend the grant and then pretty much justifying why the grant needs to be extended.
I guess, I mean, I don't know if we need to see the request, but I'd like to know who end up does.
We can give you a list about who it is. Mike has the authority to extend any other grants where it doesn't have to come to CAC, but we can actually let you guys know who exactly was extended with the grants.
Since most of the money has not been spent yet, what will happen with the money that's not spent from that budget?
You're talking about from if the grant time ends and then some money is left over? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Normally, if they're like, say I use Hayden Harmon, if Hayden Harmon does not spend all the money that was allocated to them and their grant gets closed out, the money goes back into the pot for the city. That's what happens to the money. And then Mike can redirect that money however he wants to redirect that money. Now, if it's prior to, and Mike, you can come in on this if I'm saying something wrong. If it's prior to the time that the grant is ended and we have enough time, sometimes if money is left over, the CAC will maybe come up with maybe a project or something that they might think that there's a need for, like I think last year or year before, there was money left over. And so they thought it was a need for the backpack program to have money to be able to feed the children. So the CAC decided that they would look at what agencies were feeding kids, and then those agencies presented to them. And then one of those agencies got selected to be able to get a grant to help with their backpack program.
But would it have to be coronavirus related, since that's
These funds would definitely have to be related to coronavirus. Yes.
Let me add in on that. Because of the coronavirus aspect of it, we'll be pretty close hold on that, because we have to make sure it's done properly and the needs are being met. We have to follow. This is a situation that has audit written all over it. HUD is going to be auditing everybody. So we have to really, toe the line on it. And if you see me keep looking over here, fire department is here. so I'm trying to see if they're going to tell me to leave the house or not. But I'm hanging on.
Well, in lieu of your emergency, Mike, did you want to? Well, we want to make sure you're safe. I mean, that's the first thing,
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Come back. Uh-oh, he got the call, y'all. You may have to leave. Okay.
I don't know if there was carbon monoxide in my house, I would just go on outside.
Now, my wife said that they said it wasn't carbon monoxide. They said it was the smoke alarms, and apparently we hadn't changed the batteries.
Oh.
Prayerfully, that's all it is. So they stopped. So.
All right, we're gonna keep an eye on you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flames, in the background.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna make sure and keep an eye on that left part of our screen. I'm sorry, right part of the screen, everybody. Anybody sees anything crazy, just let us know. Okay. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm okay with the the updates so far. I do want to look at that piece as Clodagh was looking at to see where we'll be at the beginning of the year and moving into June. I do know that there should be or might not, I'm not sure, Michelle, but how are we looking for next year? Are we looking to be on schedule for granting any monies to nonprofits in the same calendar year, budget year?
Yes, next year, yes. Next month we will actually advertise the grants for next year.
And these are like the non-COVID funds, but are people allowed to submit COVID projects for these funds, or does that have to be COVID dollars?
Sorry. Say that
We'll
again.
probably keep those separate.
So no COVID projects with these funds at all.
Well, we'll check with, probably technically you could. We'll have to check with HUD about it. Because, we talked about that early on, about taking funds and using it for COVID. We'd have to check with them from a standpoint of COVID is still CDBG. So anything that is eligible for COVID would be eligible for CDBG. Do you agree with that, Alicia? Okay. Are we okay now?
Yeah, we have to replace them.
Oh, okay. So probably could.
Yeah. Because I could just see, like, you want to make sure that these people have money for their other non-COVID related projects, but also everyone's projects are slightly touched by COVID, so I could see why they
Yeah.
would get all mixed up together.
Yeah. And you could easily argue that COVID represents a hierarchy, a greater need than, say, some other stuff. And you have some similar activities, so probably could. We'll just have to explore that and see how HUD would react to that, because there's one stovepipe for COVID, and then there's another one for CDBG. So we just have to explore that, but it's probably doable.
Makes sense. And I'm sorry. So Michelle, you said those you're going to start advertising next month in December.
So yes, we'll start advertising for the new set of grants next month.
So, I don't think we have to vote on these. I think we just have to, look at them, make sure we're okay with them. If you guys are okay, and I would say let's accept them, see what happens the remainder of the year, and see who comes up needing some extra time. But if I'm wrong, Michelle, Alicia, do we have to vote on these, or these are just reviews, right? Just updates. Okay.
They're just updates.
Okay.
You guys wanted to have an update of the group, and so these are just updates on those grants that we actually gave out for the coronavirus. And I think that you asked that when the you wanted another update on these once they have finished their projects.
Yes, absolutely. I know I definitely do. So again, if you guys are okay, we'll go ahead and accept these. I think they look good. And then we'll just move ahead to our neighborhood meetings. Does anyone have a report they want to share with the group on any meetings that they've been to?
I went to the Washington Street neighborhood meeting. I thought it was a good meeting. They were planning their Thanksgiving grab and go, which was tonight. I wanted to volunteer for it, but I decided not to. But overall, I was impressed with the group. I mean, they didn't get into any like real neighborhood issues or anything like that. It was definitely, for me, just an introductory meeting for me. But they were planning that event, and overall, I was pretty impressed with them. They've done it before, and it sounds like they actually do it at a pretty big scale. It's an elaborate operation that they pull off. They get a lot of volunteers for it. So I thought that was really impressive. It seems that they have a lot of resources as a community, know how to tap into them, and get a lot of good volunteer help. I wish I could have seen the operation tonight. That would have been cool. But I mean, they were, I guess they normally feed the community for Thanksgiving, those who need it, with kind of like a drive up dinner. And they were, making COVID adjustments to it, to make it like a drive through where you just grab and go kind of a thing, instead of, I guess you normally can sit down and eat there. And they had, an offsite kitchen where they would package things up and things like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. But again, they all seemed like a great group. I would definitely be interested in continuing to go to their meetings. Like I said, this call was more dominated by event planning than necessarily issues with the neighborhood. But overall, I thought it was good, and I was impressed with them.
How many people were present during that meeting, Jessica?
6-ish, 5 to 6, I think.
And it was only a planning meeting. That's the only thing they wanted to focus on was this Thanksgiving dinner. And so, and getting it on board and making sure it was a success.
Yeah, they got a lot of planning done. I think it's helped that they did it like in the past, but I'm very interested to see how many people. I might just ask out of curiosity how many people they end up feeding tonight. It seemed a lot of thought went into it, so I hope it was successful for them.
Hey, Jessica, did they say where they was holding the event at?
Yes, I have it in an email. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can look it up.
Oh, that's okay.
That Diep's building on Washington Street.
Say
and
again,
across
Michelle,
the
please.
street. Is that the Diep building on Washington Street?
Oh,
And then
okay.
they were gonna use across the street where Patrick Harmon's building is located.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Michelle.
They're holding regular meetings, I assume, right, Jessica? And so they'll be having a meeting next month as well.
They may not have a meeting next month. Normally, some of the groups will have, well, in the past, they have had their little Christmas gathering in December, but I don't know if they will have a meeting next month. They may just skip and wait till the beginning of the year. But if they do have a meeting, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And
done like
also,
the
if you're
Christmas
gonna
tree
go
lighting.
to a meeting, if you guys can let us know if you're gonna go to a meeting, so if the meeting gets canceled, we can let you know. And I apologize for those of you that went to the Burns Hill meeting and it was canceled, but Ms. Domingo had called a couple of days before and said, after thinking about it and with the increase in numbers, they decided not to meet. And so they canceled that meeting on November the 9th.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. We appreciate that report. And I think we have another neighborhood meeting from Oakview. Can we get a report from that one?
Yeah, I'd like Chloe to chime in because I was not able to make that one, but I believe she was there.
Yeah, last Tuesday, not 2 days ago, the Tuesday before that, we had a Zoom meeting with the lady director from the Family Justice Center for Domestic Violence. And I think Jim was talking about he wanted to organize a tour. I'd really like to go too. Yeah, so we just spoke about setting that up, and I'm just trying to think back on what they said that we could do to help. I think I know there was a couple of other people on that phone call, but were they going to send a list, I think, of things? I remember asking the girl what we could bring if we went to take a tour, of a list of donations, items that they might want donated. I think they said that.
I was also on that call.
Yeah, didn't she say something?
I do think she said that, of like a list of things that they normally need or something like that. We asked how we could help, and definitely spreading awareness was one thing that she said, just that they're there. I certainly didn't know about any of those services. So I thought it was really interesting. But I do think she said she was going to provide a list of like donation items that they need regularly or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, Jim was going to set up a tour. She was talking about the differences that just the times, like with the virus, the difference in the people that were coming in. Although it actually didn't seem too different. And she said it was quiet initially at first, but that especially with the numbers of domestic violence picking up, with most people being at home right now. So we spoke a little bit about that, but yeah, that was last week. And I know that there's another food project going on that I haven't really been involved with, but last week, Jim and I did meet with Jackie from Diep. We were handing out some prizes for the art contest that the boys and girls had completed about a month ago. So that was last week. And there's a food project going on. I don't know too much about that. If somebody else wants to talk about the food project.
Yeah, sure. So we met on this past Saturday at the Oakview Rec Center, and we were able to put together some boxes for those families that we have on a list that we're going to do food distribution to. So Jessica was there too, so she can chime in too. But yeah, we were able to put that together, and I believe we should be, I think it's next month, we're gonna get more donations in and put that stuff packaged together and make that food distribution next month.
All right, good deal. So you guys at Oakview, you guys are holding regular meetings, right? Are they in person or are they virtual? How you guys doing that?
Virtual at the moment. It's my understanding. I haven't been doing it very long, but that we used to meet at Oakview Rec Center, but since COVID, it's all been virtual.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Jim said starting January he wanted to take them to the rec center, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It just seems like numbers are higher than ever, so we'll just have to see what January brings. Who knows? We might be on a lockdown or something.
Yeah, and I think I am scheduling the groups that meet at the centers. I'm scheduling their meeting dates, and it's only going to be if the center is open. So if the center is open, then they will allow the neighborhood groups to come in and meet.
Mm-hmm.
But if the virus continues to increase, that y'all will probably still be meeting virtually.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one more thing, Mr. Chairman, if I can, just wanted to say, as we had met on Saturday to put the food stuff together, one of the things that I've noticed, and I just wanted to thank the community, is we have also placed those that may want to give donations on Open Door. Jim did, and we were able to get a lot of response from different ones that are willing to help those that are in need, especially with COVID and everything that's happening now with the pandemic. We know that there's families, and as the holidays come around, that have a need. So I wanted to thank the community in that regard for the donations. At the same time, I want to encourage those that are in need to just contact us, because one of the things that was said on Saturday was that although we have a list, it's not as much as we thought it would be. And one of the things that was shared is that there may be where someone may feel proud to say, hey, I have a need. So, I would say, especially during this time, if you have a need, don't be proud to ask. We can, we will reach out if we can and ask for donations or what have you and get in contact with you. But I think together as a community, especially here in High Point, we can all get together and make this situation at least a little less of a strain as what it is.
Let me dovetail on something Michelle had said about the virtual meetings and whatnot. The city is going to be teleworking through the end of March. We just announced that the other day. So essentially, if we're teleworking, you're teleworking. So I would anticipate virtual meetings at least until the end of March.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Orel, for the update from Oakview and, the resources that you have. There will be, I think, some needs that we will need to address as a community, not just as a CAC, but as a community coming up in the next couple of months. So I thank you very much for that. And, if everybody can, just continue to be vigilant as we are. I know these are some tough times, but, I just appreciate everyone who's involved, Orel, Jessica and Clodagh at Oakview. I know you guys have been doing some things. Myself, the rest of the CAC, just be involved where we can. Make sure that we can get resources to people in our communities because it's going to be crucial this Christmas. So, again, I just want to thank you for that, Orel, and appreciate all you guys that have been out there on the front lines, even if it's teleworking. Thanks, Mike. We need that also. Yeah, I thank you guys for that. And
I'm in the office every day. You're welcome to come visit. I'm the only one there. But I'm there every day.
What do you mean, in City Hall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I go in every day. I hold it down.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe we can, I don't know, schedule a lunch, your treat,
I haven't gotten that brave yet. I still do takeout.
We can take out plastic sporks. I'm good with that. Okay. All right. So any other reports from the neighborhood meetings? Okay. Excellent. Moving to new business. Does anyone have any new business they'd like to share? Any updates on anything? Well, I do want to share a congratulations to Mr. Warren Boone and Mr. Orrell Henry. They are recent graduates of the project board development that I myself was also part of with United Way. So give those guys a hand and congratulations. They are now certified board development specialist. We had a graduation on November the 10th at 6 o'clock. So I want to wish a big congratulations to those guys.
So what does that mean? What's a board develop? What is that?
We now are board certified to do what we do. No, it was a program, project board development program through United Way. So just talked about, responsibilities of board members, how to be a better board member, and just some activities we went through to see how boards work. It was very, very enlightening, I have to say. There was a lot of information that, when you say resources, there's a ton of resources here in High Point for nonprofits, for individuals who, want to get involved, and resources that we can offer the community. And, as board members, our job is to make sure that we're doing the job of a board member. We represent a certain, I hate to say it, but a certain constituency. So our job is to be prepared, know the facts, and, to be, impactful as our roles as board members.
And Mr. Mingo has gone to that class. Willie has gone to that class. Jim Bronner has gone to that class. And I think Mr. Belt, do you go to that class? Maybe not.
I did not.
Okay. So, they went to the class as Jim and Mr. Mingo went to the class as neighborhood leaders, but it benefited them being also on this board.
I would like to go, but they like to do it in October and April. As alumni, perhaps you can persuade them to pick another month.
Jessica, one of the things that I talked to Latoria about, and I don't know if they were going to do this or not, but they were planning on doing, and it's probably not the same, but at least doing some pre-recorded videos of the whole class. And I don't know if they would work at doing something that way, but I know that you had responded back that you wanted to go, but because of the market, you could not go. So, but we will try to work something out.
I'd be interested in some videos.
Anybody else? Any new business announcements? No. Okay. So moving right along, we have Mr. Michael McNair, our CDNH director with Community Development. Michael.
Thank you, sir. Got a few items to report. The Senate has finished its markup. I don't know if you're familiar with the process, but they'll do a bill. House does a bill, Senate does a bill, they mark it up, and then they come together and reach some kind of agreement. So the Senate has completed its markup of what's called the T-HUD bill, which is transportation and HUD. And their total amount for CDBG is lower than the House bill, but it's greater than the amount that was allocated last year. So that's should be good news. The probably will settle somewhere in the middle. The president in his budget had zeroed it out, but Congress historically, and that's happened multiple times, Congress historically has said, no, we got to have that. And those programs have continued. So once we know what the final amounts are, it'll still be a while before we know once they break it out, because there's, I don't know, 350 entitlements across the country, and the number changes every year as the country grows. And so we get more entitlements. The more entitlements you get, the smaller the slice it is. We should see a slight increase, though. I'd say maybe 5% or something like that. We'll see about that. The Cedro subdivision project is housing construction is underway. If you drive by there, you'll see one house. I went by there last Friday, and the walls were going up on one house. They hadn't started on the second one. Both of them have been sold. And the real estate agent is telling me that people are hassling her because they want to buy out there, and people are trying to pre-purchase. Now, CHS, which is the developer, only has 4 parcels right now, but we'll be probably conveying or asking council to convey more as they go forward. The interior street is complete, so you can actually drive from Enterprise, go down Kingsway, and come out on the other end of, what was it, Rolling Green, I think. So that's open, it's beautiful. We had a lot of dirt brought in and then a lot of dirt taken out because there were some big slopes over there we had to take care of. If you go over there, you'll see a big brown hole, which is where the bioretention cell is going to be. That's where we have vegetation. I don't particularly care for retention ponds. I think they just are unattractive. They attract mosquitoes. You just have this big body of water sitting in the middle of the neighborhood. Whereas with a bioretention cell, you actually have plant growth in there. There'll be trees and shrubs, well, maybe not trees, but shrubs and grass that'll have to be maintained. But that will look pretty good. You probably, if you drive up and down Wendover, you probably noticed that Avondale Trace is approaching completion. They should be done, if not the end of December, end of January. And then they should be available for rent not too long after that. The other project, Abbey Crossing, which is an elderly, has not gotten underway. Things are kind of frozen right now because of the financial markets. The backbone of the tax credit is you have to go out in the marketplace, and they call it syndication, but they're selling it. And so that's where the equity comes from. And so right now the markets are just kind of crazy, so everybody's kind of holding back. But that will be actually next to Admiral Point, if you know where Admiral Point is. Do y'all know where Admiral Point is? Right on the corner of Salmon and Admiral. So it'll be 48 units right over there. We are also discussing other projects for the coming year, but he hasn't finalized his sites yet, so I'm going to leave it at that. But once, but we anticipate having another multifamily or an elderly project for the coming year. That's something that's always kind of going on. Those discussions are going on year round about the next year. The action planning process is always underway. As soon as we finish one, we're talking about the next one. So it's we're always laying plans out for that. And I think I think that's all I got, unless anybody has questions for me.
I have one, Mike.
Yes, sir. How you
The one
doing?
I'm doing good, my friend. The one on Wendover.
Yes.
Is that, you may have answered this, and I may not remember. Is it going to be income based only? Is that just
Yes.
income based? Okay.
Incremental.
And
Yeah. You have to be.
so everybody rent will not be the same. Is that correct, or will it? Is it a certain?
Yeah, they won't all be the same. They're based on your income. The maximum income that you can earn will be, I think, is it 60% of the area median. So you get into all those. Remember, we showed you all those income charts. So if you a single person and you make, say, 20,000 a year, and you're a single person and you make 30,000 a year, your rents will be different, even though it's the same unit.
Right. You don't know.
It's based on the income that you make.
So what highest rent will be, what, like 600, 500? You have an idea?
Well, that will be a mixture of 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
Okay. So the highest rent for a 3-bedroom, I think, is going to be probably just under $900 a month. Now, if you go out into the marketplace, a 3-bedroom apartment can easily hit you $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month. I'm talking about a real, market rate stuff. So he's competing against market rate. And I won't say it's funny, but they get people all the time coming in wanting to rent, and they're like, no, you make too much money. I'm sorry. You're not eligible. So it's attractive to the marketplace. These are state-of-the-art developments. And when we do come out of this pandemic, we took the CAC to one time. Probably could have a meeting over at one. But when we get a chance to be able to move around, but we now have Avondale will be the 5th one, and Abbey Crossing will be the 6th one. When that's done, it'll be 400 units. So this is something that we've been doing steadily since the first one was in 2012. Been fairly successful in attracting those. We've got a good local developer that knows how to win those awards. Those things are very competitive. Every year there tends to be, 175, 200 applications, and they might fund 35 or 40. So it's very competitive, but it's a great program, and it really lets us stretch our dollars. We end up leveraging about 5-to-1, 6-to-1, depending on the project. I'll give you, for instance, Kirkwood Crossing, which is Kirkwood is off of where's Kirkwood?
It's on
Kirkwood. It's on Kirkwood.
It's there by like the Domino's.
Kirkwood, yes.
It's on Kirkwood.
It's off Kirkwood. Is right in front of the Domino's over there. That particular project, we put $2 million in it. And the reason that we needed so much money to go into it was that, and those of you who've been around here a long time may know about it, apparently they found out there was a building buried in the ground on the site. And so it needed a lot of site work. And so to make that application competitive, they asked us for that amount of money. Typically, we're looking at $600,000 or so per project, but that one was $2 million. I think Addington Ridge Hartley might have been 1.3 million. I can't remember which one is which, but we have we've been pretty successful with that. And actually, I participated in a HUD webinar last week. There was a webinar on how to use Section 108 to leverage low-income housing tax credits. And there were 3 cities on the webinar: Sacramento, Kansas City, and us. So we have been acknowledged as somewhat of a trailblazer. I think we were the first city that started doing that. So that's been good. You know, I get calls from all across the country. People ask me, how do you do that? How do you do that? So it's a good program. I think that's all I got. Anybody got anything else for me?
How does a building get buried in the ground?
You know, I guess they demolished it and then just smoothed it over. I think it used to be a shopping center or something. Who's been here a long time? Willie? I don't mean to. I'm not suggesting.
I have, but I can't remember exactly what it was there. I really don't.
So it was
But I
like
appreciate this.
it was
Was
the
it-
remnants of a building. It wasn't like a fully constructed building.
Well, I think they demolished it and didn't take it off site. And then just kind of worked it into the dirt. You remember, Willie? I understand it was there in the 70s. Bingo would know. He's not here. What about you, Mr. Belton? Need to unmute, Mr. Belton. You remember?
Hello?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
You don't? You weren't? Do you remember? You know the site we're talking about?
Yes. Yes, down from the,
Behind the
you're still
bank.
talking about, from where?
Behind the bank on, what is it, Ferris?
Yes, behind,
The Paris and
behind,
Kenwood.
Ferris and Kirkwood?
Harris Theater down the street from the, city utilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parks and Rec.
I do not remember.
Okay.
I remember us visiting that site. I do remember that.
Yeah,
But I don't
I've seen
remember.
it on, I don't know if you guys ever use The Point, which is the city's GIS program, but you can actually go back and see older maps, older pictures. You can go back as far as, I think, 1928 or something. And we were able to go, like in Southside, we were showing them what their neighborhood looked like 50 years ago. You know, and you could see, you know, where houses were that aren't there now, and you know, all the stories that people tell. And it's pretty interesting. I have to look at that and see what was there. But there was something there.
That was my only question.
Okay. Any Willie, you always good for two, man. What you got?
That's it for right now. I appreciate it.
Okay. Anybody else for me? Who's that little man right there?
That's James. That's number 3.
How you doing, James? All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. We do appreciate that report. And anybody else, you know, any comments, questions for Mike? Okay, excellent. Well, we don't have anything from Mr. Jefferson. I don't think he's going to make it this evening unless he is somewhere and we don't know.
Actually, I got a text from him. I sent him a text to make sure everything was okay. He said that his wife sent him on an errand and it's taking much longer than expected. So I probably shouldn't have said that on the record.
Duties of public office. Taking care of the community. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll skip the council updates for now. If you look at your at the agenda, our next meeting is scheduled for December the 17th. So if there's any objections or any questions about that, then our next meeting will be held on that date. Do we have any other announcements? Anything anyone wish to share? Birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions? Anybody getting married?
Willie?
I'm just asking. You never know. Warren, you never know. I don't know. I guess not. No, nobody's getting married this week.
My all of a sudden, The audio went bad.
I thought you were looking around to see if anybody was listening.
That's right. Microphone check. Who is listening? Okay. Well, guys, I think we're good. I don't have any questions. Michelle, Michael, Alicia, you guys have anything from community development? Anything else?
I was just wanting to share with you guys that even though we're not able to be in the neighborhoods and go out through the communities, we do have students, Barner students from High Point University that is assisting us in talking to our neighborhood leaders to find out, what they need to help them, with any flyers that they may have, to help them update their bylaws, their brochures, anything that we would have normally done if we were actually boots on the ground with our neighborhoods. We have students actually making those contacts with our neighborhood leaders. We think it's important to keep connected. And I say some of the leaders don't realize that they really need help, but they really do. And so the students are, just continuing to talk to them and gather information to help them be able to do some of the things that they are actually, working on, the things that they need to look for in the future. And so we are still staying connected to the neighborhoods. From time to time, I will pick a couple of hours and I will make phone calls to all the leaders to make sure that they're okay, so that we can make sure that people are connected, that people don't feel isolated, and that they are actually talking to someone else. And so one of the other things that our students are going to try to do, because a lot of our neighborhoods don't feel comfortable doing like a Zoom or go to meeting and that type of thing. And so they're going to try to work with the neighborhoods virtually on how to set themselves up so that they can have meetings that way and don't have to try to do in-person meetings right now. And so they're actually going to work with them on that. We actually sent out something when we first started to do Zoom meetings with CAC. We sent something out to our neighborhood leaders with instructions on how they could go about doing Zoom meetings to just stay connected with their neighborhoods. And so, so we still have our fingers on the pulse as we're working with our neighborhood groups. The other thing that we are looking at doing, Alicia and one of our Bonner students has come up with 3 different options for us to try to do VITA. And I keep telling them that they need to go with option C, and option C is totally going virtual, if the numbers continue to climb. And so it's just been a little challenge trying to figure out how we're going to do that and how we're going to get documentations from people and make copies of things, if you're talking about doing virtual. So they are working on that now as to try to figure out how we can have our tax season without it being interrupted, and that, our employees and our volunteers are still safe and our taxpayers are still safe as we go about trying to get that done. I don't know, Alicia, did you want to add anything to that piece at all?
Yeah, it's just we've been in contact with our volunteers, our past volunteers, and we're working out some different scenarios with our volunteer tax preparers that we have at High Point University. So if they can come off campus or if they can't come off campus, we have several different options, but it's a lot of preparation in addition to just normal volunteer training. So we're trying to stay on top of it and put a couple options out there, but we know, going virtual 100% is going to put some hardships on our elderly people that may not be as comfortable scanning documents or getting on a computer to upload documents. So we're just trying to keep everybody in mind as we put the best plan together.
Like tax season is going to be on time.
What was that, Robert?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I said, it looks like tax season is going to be on time, if nothing else.
Oh, yes. We'll
And
definitely be on time.
I'm assuming you guys know this already too, but there's a lot of like awesome scan apps I didn't even know about, I like the Adobe one, but I didn't know about it until COVID. And now half the time I use it instead of using the scanner that's available to me.
Yeah, we're looking at all that and portable scanners and different software that will make it easier for us to hopefully, if it comes to worst case, that we'll be able to still operate.
Well, keep us updated. We definitely want to know so that we can pay our taxes. Everyone pay on time, please. Says a former tax preparer myself, so I'm just saying, do it the right way. You don't have to do it a second time.
Would you like to volunteer?
Hmm.
When's our next meeting? December 17th?
We'll get in touch with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Sure. Why not? I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Any of you, if you would like to volunteer to help with taxes, just let us know. And we will make sure you get the necessary paperwork to get you trained to be able to volunteer with us.
Yeah, we'll be doing a couple of virtual, just general information, getting started sessions in the coming weeks. So we'll definitely send the information out.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. So, anything else from anyone? Anything? Then can I get a motion for adjournment?
Yes, I move for this meeting to be adjourned.
Second.
All right, meeting has been, we have been proposed and it has been seconded. Do we need to take a vote for each person? Clodagh?
Oh, that's good.
I'll take that as a yay. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Orrell?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. Meeting is adjourned, ladies
We
and
got
gentlemen.
Mr. Belton.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Mr. Belton?
Yes.
And the meeting is officially adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belton.
Thanks, Ken.
You guys have a
Have
happy
a good one,
Thanksgiving.
guys. Same to you.
Same to y'all.
Thank
Be
you.
safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Good Thanksgiving.